Let's solve for the zeros of this quadratic equation. So notice here, we've got an x squared term and an x term. But it's the fact that we don't have it in its full complexity. We don't have that constant plus c at the end. That still makes this solving with algebra not too difficult. We don't need to jump into the quadratic equation immediately. If we're looking for the zeros of this function, we set it equal to 0. That's me looking for where I cross. So I'm looking for that point, and I'm looking for that point. So we do this, we set it equal to 0, 1/2 x squared minus 4x is equal to 0. And I notice here that I have an x present in both terms, which allows me to pull out that x. So I'm using the distributive law just backwards. If I pull an x away from this front term, I'm left with a 1/2 and 1x. If I pull an x away from this second term, I'm left with just the -4. So you can pause the video here, check yourself. If you redistribute this x, you should get back up to that line. Okay, so here we're going to use a trick in algebra that says that if I have a times b equals 0, then a is 0 or b is 0. So if I have a product that equals 0, one of the terms in the products has to be 0. And here I have x times 1/2 x minus 4. So either the x is 0, which gives me that point right there, or the 1/2 x minus 4 factor is 0, which this needs to be rearranged a little bit to figure out what x has to be. Let's move forward to the other side and divide both sides by 1/2 or multiply both sides by 2. That gives you your second 0. So not too hard to solve for with some algebra. But again, the quadratic formula is always going to work, so let's do that here too. The x values that are going to give me zeros are minus b plus or minus square root b squared minus 4ac over 2a. Applied to this problem is a positive 4 plus or minus square root b squared, so minus 4 squared is 16, b squared minus 4a, and then my c value is 0, all over 2 times a. So with some algebra, let's chase this down and see what x values we find. 16 minus 0 is 16, square root 16 is 4, and 2 times 1/2 is just a 1. So we really end up at 4 plus or minus 4, which is how we got 0, and it's how we got 8.